Hello, and welcome to another episode of Attack the Baseline, a WNBA podcast, where every episode we attack our baseline knowledge of the WNBA. On today's episode, we're going to get into All-Star Weekend. Before that, get into a little news about a couple more records being broken and a big trade in the WNBA. But before we get into all of that, I'm your host, John, joined by my co-host, Kristen. We're here. Kristen, how are you doing?
Doing good. We were very busy this weekend.
Yes.
So sadly, we did not see these events live.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks to League Pass, we were able to watch them yesterday and today.
Yep, on the replay.
So fun.
So fun.
It was a great weekend for us and for the W. So much energy. Great events.
Yeah, great players. Everybody was having a good time.
Yeah.
Pretty real basketball. Good competition.
I would have loved to be there.
Yeah, no, I've never had the opportunity to go to any all-star event for any sport, but I do feel like it looked like a lot of fun.
No, I'm really trying to go next year.
Okay.
I want to go.
We are trying to go to the WNBA All-Star Weekend next year. Yeah. I don't know where it is.
Being in the summer, it's such an easy time to go travel somewhere just for a weekend. I'm betting that it's going to be somewhere on the east side of the country next year.
She loves to bet that.
Because it was in Phoenix, so it'll be closer for us. I already put our names in for the lottery for it.
Oh.
For the list for it.
This is news to me, listeners.
So, we'll be there. 2025.
Wonderful. Well, we'll get you an eyewitness report. Folks, if you're new here to the podcast, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. As I mentioned, this is a WNBA podcast designed to instruct and for us to learn about all the goings-on in the game of women's basketball, in and around the WNBA as the main topic. For the next couple weeks, it's going to be Olympics, because after All-Star Weekend, the WNBA shut down until August 15th. So as we record this on the 22nd of July, we've got a couple weeks of non-WNBA basketball. If you are new here and you would like to send us a message, you can do so at our email, attackthebaseline@gmail.com, or go out there and follow us on our Twitter, @ATBpod_, to get all of our release news and a lot of reposts about what's going on around the league. There's so many fun posts by all the teams that it's fun to just boost that signal.
Yeah, and we were notably quiet during this weekend because we were not watching these events live.
Because we were away.
But in general, I like to, be on the social media during the games, and we follow all the teams and see what they're all saying about, all their players. So you'll be able to get a good breadth of information.
Correct.
You don't have to follow all the teams. We can do that for you.
Yeah, we will keep you up to date on everything going on in the WNBA. So let's segue into our news roundup for the week. It's a bit of a small week. This past week in the WNBA was really only 2 days worth of games on Monday and on Tuesday, and then there was the break. Biggest thing that happened, Caitlin Clark broke another record.
Oh, what?
She broke the all-time assists record in a game by having 19 assists in a single game.
Oh, in one game?
One game.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
You didn't realize that. It was pretty big news. They just talked about it on the replay.
No, I didn't realize.
Yes. Caitlin Clark. She's doing it again. And again, like I've said on a past episode, her passing is what I believe is her strongest skill.
It absolutely is.
She's
and I'm
showcasing that.
Kind of tired of her trying to shoot threes at this point. I'm just forget it and just pass.
Yeah, I mean, in the All-Star game, she went 0 for 6 or 0 for 7 from 3, rim out. But she almost broke the assist record for an All-Star, which was 11, set by Sue Bird. She had 10 in the game. We'll talk more about that in detail later on. But this is just a common thing. Every week, it's like Caitlin breaks a record or Angel breaks a record. And it's really continues to set up for a great Rookie of the Year debate. I don't know who it is. The media is set that A'ja is going to win the MVP. We've said that before on the show. But Rookie of the Year really could be either of them. And because they are both continuing to collect accolades.
Yeah.
And it's some crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was like
that's not the biggest news.
Sorry. I buried the lead, I guess.
Yeah.
The biggest news was that there was a pretty considerable trade. And the first big trade. The first big trade of the year.
Yeah.
If not the first trade of the year entirely.
I think it was the first trade.
Marina Mabrey, who the Chicago Sky went out and got last year in a big 5-team trade.
Wild.
Has been shipped to the Connecticut Sun to bring them more 3-point shooting. Exactly what we said they need.
Exactly what they need. And I think what we said last, I don't know if it was last pod or the pod before, we said if they can add a 3-point shooter to Rachel Banham, then they'll be, the sky's the limit for them.
Not the sky, the sun's the limit.
Sun is the limit. Well, that's not exactly happening because Rachel Banham was traded to the Sky, but it's clearly an upgrade.
Correct. And to break it down, for those that are unaware of this pretty considerable trade, the Connecticut Sun receive Marina Mabrey and a 2025 second-round pick in exchange for, as you mentioned, Rachel Banham, Mo Jefferson, who played very limited minutes for the Sun this year, a 2025 first-round pick, and a 2026 first-round pick swap, which I think is pretty considerable considering the fact that Connecticut, come 2026, what could their team look like? We're going to have multiple expansion drafts that's going to shake the entire foundation of the league. You're going to have AT and DeWanna Bonner as free agents going into next season. They might not be on the team anymore. That could be a very good trade. This could be a very good trade for both teams because the Sun needed that player in Marina, and the Sky don't really need to try to win right now.
Right. No. I think it's better for the Sky to not be winning right now for multiple reasons. They have a pick swap or whatever, which they don't want to hurt them for this upcoming draft. It seems like a lot for Marina Mabrey, who's like not the best 3-point shooter.
No, she's like a 35% 3-point shooter last time I checked.
Yeah.
But the reason is the volume. The reason is I believe that like she's a capable 3-point shooter. She was in the 3-point shooting contest.
Correct.
At All-Star Weekend.
So weekend. Then my thing was, okay, then is she going to be a starter for the Sun? And pretty much everything I heard is like, no, she's going to still come off the bench.
But we won't know until Coach White puts out a starting 5.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It seems like a lot from the Sun, but they're trying to win. They're trying to win now. They needed 3-point shooting.
Correct.
So fine, they did it. They got it, and we'll see. Hopefully it works out for them.
Right, and they're still up there at the top of the league. And now I do believe that their top-end talent is obviously better with this trade. Marina is a better player than Banham or Jefferson are.
Well, Mo Jefferson is supposedly very good. She just has been hurt.
Correct. And it didn't really work out in this case. So it's a good move for the Sky then that you get, potential upside player. I don't know if Mo Jefferson stays in the system after this year. I don't know what her contract is or what any of their contracts are really. But as we've talked about before, most players have 1 year left on their contract, maybe 2. It's very unlikely that there's any long-term contracts here. So it's tough to say what's going to happen. But, does a Banham or a Mo Jefferson get... do they get restricted in the expansion draft? Do they hold on? Do the Sky hold on to them? Or do they let them go to the rest of the league? Like, could that be moves for the Valkyries? Like... we're gonna see. There's still a ways to go on that, but it was a pretty interesting trade. And at first I was like, ooh. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, I think it could be a legitimate win-win. I'd give it like a B for the Sun and maybe like a B+ for the Sky. Honestly, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if you have any different opinion.
No. I think it's what the sky needed. I mean, I think it's what the sun needed. So we'll see if it works out.
Yeah. And we'll get right back on the train in the middle of August. The Sun are going to want to keep winning to get a good matchup in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But can they, try to steal the 1 seed from the Liberty?
No.
Don't think so. But could they maintain that 2 seed and not get chased by the Aces? That would be something for them, which, it's just going to involve them not losing more ground, like losing more games. They can still win, and they've lost less games than the Aces. So if they can just maintain it, then they might be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we also have a couple more additions to Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart's Unrivaled Basketball 3-on-3 League that were announced this week. So we are adding Ryan Howard, Kalia Copper, and Jackie Young to that league.
3 hoopers.
Yeah.
Ryan Howard, back.
Back, apparently.
Ryan Howard back.
No warning of this, but there she was.
She came back for the last game before the break, and then she did participate in the 3-on-3 exhibition game that took place in the middle of All-Star Friday. So it was nice to see her back. It was cool.
Yeah. No, it was like, okay. I mean, for weeks, we'd been like, well, is Ryan Howard going to play in the Olympics or are they going to replace her? And no word of it had been said.
Not a word.
So we were getting worried, like, what are they doing? And then, okay, Ryan Howard's back. It's fine.
Yeah. So
it would just be nice to, like, have some injury updates.
Yeah. A little more reporting.
There's nothing.
Would go a long way in this league.
Yeah.
And I hope that, as the league's voice grows and gets stronger, that becomes more of a reality. But I just don't know. Mm-hmm. So congrats on coming back, Ryan. Glad that you get to be there with the Olympic team.
Yeah.
And let's hope that the 3-on-3 team has as much success as we hope that the 5-on-5 team is going to have.
Mm-hmm. Well, they should have success, even though they lost in this All-Star game.
Yes. Good segue.
We did not see coming.
No. But before we get into the game, which everyone is talking about, let's go over the smaller things.
Sure.
The Friday.
Yeah.
So we had the skills comp, the 3-on-3 competition, and the 3-point contest. We'll start with the skills comp, which, if you haven't seen the skills comp, it's a combination of passing and shooting from different spots and making a layup at the end. Like, it's I think they changed it up in the NBA All-Star. It's now like more of a team event as opposed to an individual event. Mm-hmm. But it's just basically like an obstacle course.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm. No, it was fun. I think it's hard, like the camera angles weren't good. It's hard to like really be able to tell like who's doing the best because they're going so fast and the cameras are not like switching fast enough. Like if I just had one camera showing the whole court so I could see like really what they were doing, that would be better. Because I like see a pass and then all of a sudden they're laying up. I'm like, okay, what's like happening here?
Right. It's pretty convoluted.
Because they're running so fast. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but it is fun.
And when I said that they changed it in the NBA, now that I remember, there was like there's multiple rounds where it's like, here's a passing exhibition where you're passing into things where you get more points.
Watching.
And here's a shooting exhibition where you're shooting high volume threes and like whoever makes the most threes is like doing that.
So here they did it like all in one course.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is what it used to be for the NBA.
Okay.
So I would prefer if they go the way of the NBA on this and do like a team event because I think there's a lot of fun combos that you could.
It is fun. It gets more people involved. It's more fun, I think, to do it that way.
Right. And the weekend is full of players that aren't even participating. Like everybody's just hanging out. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's why it was like kind of annoying that Allisha Gray and Marina Mabrey were in both the skills contest and the 3-point contest.
That's very true.
Like, there's a lot of other players. Like, they could have done
and
the
other
skills.
ones that are there.
Yeah, they're all there.
We'll go down the list. Who competed in the skills comp and how did that sort of break down?
Okay, so the skills comp was Brittany Griner, Allisha Gray, Kelsey Mitchell, so Kelsey Mitchell,
Crazy.
It was supposed to be Arike Wheeler.
Yep.
but her flight got canceled.
Because of that crazy IT thing that happened. Topical, not topical anymore.
Yeah.
Wild
So
thing.
she missed it. So Kelsey Mitchell went in her place, and Kelsey Mitchell was wearing Erica Wheeler's jersey.
So cute.
So it said Wheeler, even
Very
though
cute.
it was Kelsey Mitchell. Marina Mabrey, and then Sophie Cunningham.
Right.
I mean, they all did pretty well, but the final two ended up being Sophie and Allisha Gray. It was fun for Sophie because they were in Phoenix, so that was like the home crowd was really pumping her up.
Hometown hero.
But Allisha Gray ended up winning by like 2 seconds.
Right.
So it was close.
Well, 2 seconds is
Not
kind of a lot, I feel like.
okay, bye.
What was cool about seeing this from Allisha, it really made you appreciate just how fast she is.
She is fast.
Like incredibly fast. And Kristen and I are Philadelphia 76ers fans, so we have the pleasure of watching Tyrese Maxey, who's like the fastest player in the league, it seems, in the NBA. Allisha Gray has a very similar zip on her release. Like, her release is crazy quick, and her ability to just like close ground and lay the ball up is wonderfully fast.
Yeah, and she also was like really good at like keeping her mind ahead, and she would like do a skill and then go to the next one. It was so fluid. And other players would like do the pass and wait for like half a second to see if the pass went in. You're like, no, just go.
Right.
Because then you're losing time.
Right.
And then if your pass doesn't go in, then you just lose. Your pass has to go in.
Right. You might as well just go quick.
Right, exactly. So she was really good at that.
She knew how to work the rules.
Yeah.
And what I'll also say about Allisha, we learned some lore.
We did.
This evening.
The broadcasters could not shut up about her glasses.
Kept talking about it. Ryan Howard's on the bench wearing glasses. Asia Wilson's on the bench wearing glasses.
Asia was so funny. Asia was like acting like her mom, like wearing the glasses, holding a camera, taking pictures of her. It was so funny.
Go on, sweetie. Go win the big event. Even though Asia is younger.
Yeah, Asia's younger than
Allisha Gray. But it turns out, not rec specs, not prescription.
Yeah.
They are simply just safety glasses, because one time in a 3-on-3 game, Allisha Gray got poked in the eye, and she said, that hurt.
Never
I'm going to wear
again.
glasses now. And now it's kind of like her, I said this to Kristen, it's kind of like her cape, like her superhero, like, persona. She dons the glasses.
That's her accessory.
And then she goes crazy.
No, people have the leg sleeve. People have the headbands.
She's the only one with the glasses,
She got
though.
the glasses.
I love it, though.
I love it.
It makes her so original.
You have been on the Allisha Gray train.
Yeah.
Roll the tape so you can all hear it.
Yeah.
I have never really watched her until now. And I'm definitely an Allisha Gray stan.
Yes. She sees the aura.
I do.
It emanates. Allisha Gray winning the skills comp.
So she wins the skills comp.
And then we go to the
is
3
like
points.
running very fast around
Yes.
2 times.
A little tired.
So yeah, you're like, oh, she's tired. Oh, now she has to go first in the 3-point contest. You're like, okay. So it was Allisha Gray, then Marina Mabrey, Kayla McBride, Jonquel Jones, and then Stephanie Dolson.
Correct. Who I was very happy with this field, because
Yeah, this was good.
Kayla, we've talked about how good she is as a 3-point shooter. I feel like I've been boosting the Stephanie Dolson noise and the Jonquel 3-point noise.
Yeah.
They're both very real 3-point shooting bigs.
Yeah.
Which I love.
No, for not getting Sabrina Ionescu or Caitlin Clark in this competition, it was still a very good draw of people.
I agree.
So Stephanie Dolson was like killing it at first.
Well, she went last.
Yeah, she went last.
Yeah.
And then she just like choked real bad at the end.
It was a shame. She was maybe the hottest shooter aside from like Jonquel's first run. Jonquel was probably the hot. Jonquel performed the best in the first round.
Yeah, she made all of her money rack balls.
Well, you should tell folks if they don't know what the money rack is.
Okay,
What does that
you're
mean?
right.
How does
you're
a
right.
3-point shooting contest work?
Okay, so you have 5 racks of 5 basketballs, and you have to go around the arc and shoot them all, and whoever makes the most in the amount of time wins.
Don't forget the 2 starry
There's
range
2
balls.
starry balls that are a little further back.
Yeah, a little bit. They earn you 3 points.
Yeah, so basically they pick one rack of balls that they bet is like gonna be their best.
Yeah, it's whatever
place to
location that they're hottest from.
Yeah. So you want to make all of those their extra points.
Right, double
your money
points.
rack. That's your money rack. So Jonquil made all 5 of her money rack balls.
Yes.
And nobody else did.
Yeah. And everybody was making like half of one of the 2 starry balls. So everyone, it was very competitive. It was a competitive first round. It could have gone pretty any way. But Jonquil led the field with 25 in round 1. Allisha Gray, who we said went first, had 23, and that's who Jonquil dueled in the final round. But Marina had 19, Kayla had 21, and Stephanie Dolson, who pretty much choked away her last 2 racks, had 20. She was a couple balls away from beating Allisha or beating Jonquil, and it being a one-on-one between 2 shooting bigs would have been pretty sweet.
Yeah, true.
But Jonquil has to go and compete in a 3-point contest final like she did last year. They said on the broadcast, she lost that one too. And unfortunately for her today, she did not take care of it. Allisha Gray came out on top by 1 point. 1
point. She was so close, Jonquil. I was really rooting for Jonquil.
Me too.
But Allisha Gray becomes the first player to win both of these competitions.
Yeah, the first player ever. So, and again, probably shouldn't be competing in both competitions. You should probably spread the love, but
correct.
It happens. And she's a sniper. This is her game, the 3-point competition, and she's very skilled as well. So it makes sense that she would win both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was either going to be her or Marina to have a chance at doing this, and she certainly performed much better than Marina.
There you go. And like all of the Sun players were all sitting right at the basket watching Marina shoot. And that was cute. Marina like wearing her Connecticut Sun jerseys for the first time. She like never played a game for them.
It's kind of weird to say.
But she's wearing their jerseys. That was cool.
Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah.
Now, let's go to the next night.
Okay.
The All-Star Game.
Yes.
The big game. Not the Super Bowl.
You can't say Super Bowl.
Not the boop. The big game, the All-Star Game.
Okay.
Team WNBA versus Team USA.
Yes.
Our Olympians. If you were not familiar about what the full rosters are, we've mentioned them multiple times on the show. There's an episode about our reaction to the All-Star team being announced and how we feel about all the selections. You can go back and check that out. But very competitive game of basketball. Let's talk about the ins and outs of what happened.
Okay. So we predicted the starters, and I think we got most of them right. But the starters for Team W were Caitlin, Arike, Dewana Bonner, Jonquil Jones, and Nneka Ogwumike. And then the starters for the Olympic team, USA, were Asia, Stewie, Jewel Lloyd, Chelsea Gray, and Diana Taurasi.
Yes, our first time seeing the potential Olympic starting 5. Doesn't mean it will be the Olympic starting 5 come game 1. They do have another exhibition game against Germany coming up this week.
Yeah, because we were thinking that Brittany Griner would start.
Yes.
So we'll see if she does. But Asia can fill that spot. So
correct.
I think
Asia's plenty tall. This is a starting 5 that makes sense for me when you compare this starting 5 to the men's potential starting 5, which is 3 guards, LeBron and Joel Embiid. This is pretty much 3 guards in Jewel, DT, and Chelsea Gray, and then you have Asia and Stewie as 2 bigs. So you do three more shooter types and 2 bigger players. It seemed pretty perfect to play BG as a center, but they don't need to do a traditional matchup because there's not that many teams out there that have the same size as BG. Really, only it's China.
Right.
So
maybe she'll start that game.
True. And Cheryl Reeve could do that.
Yeah.
But that's what the starters looked like. Interesting, we find out that we were wrong about the coach of Team WNBA.
Well, perhaps. So we said it would be Sandy Rondello,
Right.
who is the coach of the New York Liberty, because they had the best record thus far. Perhaps they did ask her, and she's just said, she's coaching the Australian Olympic team, so she's busy.
I'm busy, give me a break.
So the coach was Cheryl Miller,
Which rocked.
who was the first head coach of the Mercury.
Yes.
So it worked out, it was in Phoenix. So she was really cool. She was really fun to watch and having a good time.
Oh, she was having a great time. They mic'd her up 2 or 3 times. She was so fun. They showed some of her huddles, telling Aaliyah and Caitlin to run a pick and roll to end the first half and how to execute it. And then of course Caitlin just sort of bombed a 3. It didn't really formulate, but she was a great listen. And this was really our first opportunity to see some live action Cheryl Miller. I know she's got this mythical persona to her. People tell me that she's really the GOAT of the WNBA. I mean, we've mentioned this before, but she famously had 115 points in a game, something that nobody's done other than Wilt, and they didn't even have video when Wilt did it, but Cheryl Miller, sure enough, they got videotape of that.
Okay, I gotta see it.
We can watch it at some point. Okay. She's a living legend. It's cool for her to get this opportunity, and it makes sense, like you said, her having a connection to Phoenix. Happy that
it was perfect. So from my observations, it just seemed like Team W were they were less afraid to play defense,
right,
than Team USA was,
right.
So they ultimately had more energy and defended better.
Right. And in an all-star game, traditionally, especially basketball all-star games, there's no defense. It's traditionally, leave them open, let them shoot. If it's the men's game, they're going to go and they're going to dunk. They're going to do loud dunks. And
yeah, sadly, we got no dunks.
No dunks.
So you should have taken the under on that.
Oh, true. I forgot that was over-under that we said. Over-under half a dunk. Yeah. I was pretty confident that we were going to see at least one dunk this weekend. No, we didn't.
No.
But it was a surprisingly competitive game. I've seen plenty of All-Star games.
But this was not in a normal All-Star game. The format of this is so good.
So good.
The format of the Olympic team needing to be good.
Right, learning how to play together. This is their first time playing together.
Well, a lot of them have played together in last Olympics.
But true.
But yes, they need to learn the plays together. They have a lot at stake because they need to go win a gold medal in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
So they need to figure out how to play together right now. So they're trying to figure it out. And then Team W is all these players who probably wish that they were on the Olympic team.
There's more than enough of them.
So they're trying to prove, hey, I'm good enough to play on the Olympic team.
Right. Big time chip on your shoulder energy.
Yes, it's such a good format. It was such a good game.
Such a good game. I think that the Team W was up by a point after the first quarter, and then the Olympic team was up by 2 to go into the half, and then the third quarter is where the WNBA All-Star team really started to pull away, and the primary reason was because of the MVP of the game, Arike Ogunbowale, who, shockingly enough, continued to do what she's done all season and take a ton of shots, but make a ton of shots, breaking the record for points scored in a game at an All-Star game with 34.
Crazy.
So she had herself a day. after not scoring a single point in the first half.
Yeah, all her points were in the second half of the game.
Just
34 points in the second half.
bucket mode.
Insane.
It was crazy. It was like, I was like, wow. I haven't watched a lot of Dallas in the last couple weeks. Like, I feel like we watched more Dallas when the season was starting.
Yeah,
but man, Arike can do this.
Yes, she can.
She can't do it. But she can't like lead a team by herself. But
well, no, clearly Dallas is like the worst team. But
she's so good.
Not because of her. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think she has the biggest chip on her shoulder than anybody, because last time they did this in 2021, and she was not on the Olympic team then. She was on Team W. She, again, was the MVP of the game.
Right. So two times in this format, she's won MVP of the game.
Cooks.
Yeah, she's one of 4 players who has had multiple All-Star MVPs. So pretty cool little factoid for Arike to go into her trophy cabinet with a really big trophy.
Oh, a really nice trophy.
It was a nice looking trophy. Kathy Engelbert was like, are you going to take this from me? Because it looks really heavy. and Arike's like, yeah, no, I'll take it.
Yeah. No, did you see the trophies for previous years? They're like little teeny weird.
Oh, like participation level trophy?
Yeah, small little cups.
Oh, that's weird.
This is better.
Nice glass star trophy.
Yeah. So I think just a couple like highlights from the game.
Yeah, what do you got?
Me.
Just go in a highlight bag.
First, I will say Angel Reese didn't start. Caitlin did. Angel did not. Mm-hmm. But Angel came in, and she just like starts doing her thing. She just gets all the rebounds.
Right.
Like, okay, this is like not any different for Angel. Mm-hmm. She had a double-double.
Yep.
The first rookie since 1999 to have a double-double in an All-Star game.
Yep.
And she tied the number of rebounds in an All-Star game.
By a rookie. Which was what Aaliyah set last season.
Year. Mm-hmm.
With 11.
Yep, 11.
So, pretty good day for Angel. I think Angel had a really good game from an on-court and off-court standpoint. They mic'd her up. Well, they didn't mic her up. They had a short interview with her, and I thought she was wonderful. She had like, they asked her a question about Caitlin, because of course they're going to ask her about Caitlin. She had such awesome things to say about Caitlin and how her and Caitlin are someday going to be playing together for Team USA. Mm-hmm. And it was like so real and genuine that I was so happy to see that, because there's been, a ton of negative discourse that has been pretty quiet as of recently, which is very nice. I appreciate. But it was just cool to hear about what these two both expect playing with Team USA next time, because if they do continue to play like this, they will be on the team the next go around.
Oh, for
and
sure.
It's ultimately fine that Caitlin's not on the team
this year. Yeah, it's fine.
Because it'll be cool when her and Angel get to do this together in 4 years.
Yeah, it's really cute.
So,
and Angel, after the game, posted a picture of her and Caitlin like high-fiving during the game to her Instagram.
Noticed it.
Yeah.
Noticed it. A lot of passing back and forth between the two.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Yeah, time to bury that bad blood.
We're done. We're done with it.
The narrative's dead.
Not there.
No.
It's not.
Let them be on-court rivals because of hoops and not because of anything else.
No, literally, they never said one bad thing about each other, so that's it.
Cut it.
Okay. I really liked, from like a gameplay perspective, I really liked seeing Asia and Sabrina Ionescu playing together. I think they played really well together. Mm-hmm. There was a couple possessions where they just like kept finding each other and passing back and forth, which was really good. So I think that's going to be important in the Olympics.
Big time. Mm-hmm. Big time. One of the things that I noticed, just looking at who played from the national team, everybody got minutes, but Nafisa Collier was the only one who played less than 11 minutes, I believe. Everybody got some run. because, it makes sense that Coach Reeve would want to see what she has in all these players and run a couple different configurations.
She was just hurt.
Well, yeah, and I think that was part of it too.
Okay.
Like, if Nafisa was coming into this game 100%, having played recently, then I think she would have played maybe one of the top 5 minutes on the team. I think that she has a pretty good skill set for Olympic competition, but she might end up falling, sort of by the wayside. It's also, Coach Reeve knows what she has in Nafisa, knows what she has in Kayla.
That's true.
Both of them played pretty much the least minutes on the team.
Kayla McBride.
Yeah.
She's not on the team.
Oh, sorry. Kayla McBride played some of the least minutes on Team WNBA, which
that was weird.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Made one basket and was out. But it makes sense that Coach Reeve would know, how to deploy Nafisa when they're playing games in Paris. So
that's a good point.
Let's worry about that before it's concerning.
I think Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum had probably the most struggling nights.
They're small.
Yeah. Literally seeing Kelsey Plum next to Jonquel Jones is hilarious. Jonquel is just so much bigger than her. Mm-hmm. I said it on our pod previewing the All-Star Game rosters. Mm-hmm. I think Kelsey Plum will have the least amount of minutes. And from this game, perhaps not.
I don't know.
But she struggled, I think, which is sad to me. We'll see. I believe in her.
Oh, of course. We're always going to believe in Kelsey. And it's just I want to watch that Germany exhibition game. I want to get a chance to check that out. Hopefully, I don't know if they'll be able to replay that because it probably won't be on League Pass. But if we can check that out. They took the women national team took 33 threes. And the real, DT could hit an open three.
She is so good at, the team struggling. She's the one who figures it out and gets them back into it.
Yeah. Yeah. A real, run killer.
Yeah.
Stewie shot a ton. Stewie had 31 points in the game, 31 and 10. So, she just chased that record, too.
Mm-hmm. Right? She's 1 point away.
Whether intentionally or not.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that Stewie had 31 minutes of play, Asia 28, and then the next highest was Sabrina had 21. So the two of them played a lot of minutes, and they'll both be playing the most minutes on the Olympic team, I would certainly assume. So it makes sense to see Stewie kind of cooking and showcasing that. But I think the amount of times that they reconfigured the team, it kind of became difficult to follow any one player outside of Stewie being on the court most of the time.
It was.
So I think there's still a lot to see from the team, but they haven't dropped a gold medal in a long time.
No, it's fine.
I don't expect bad things just because they lost to the second level of talent in the WNBA.
No, exactly.
The next best group.
This is probably the hardest competition they're going to face.
Yeah.
A team of, the next best players in the world, plus they are wanting to win very bad, and you're just kind of practicing. So, yeah, I think this was probably their toughest competition, and they still had a pretty good game. Just, lost it in the third quarter with Arike going off.
Yep.
But it was great. It was such a fun weekend. Personally, I didn't see enough of Ellie.
Yeah, not a lot of Ellie.
All the mascots were there. And at one point, there was they were doing a dunking, jumping on the trampoline, dunking. And Ellie is just lounging on the seats. She can't be bothered to jump on a trampoline and dunk. Ew. So good for Ellie.
Ew. Such a queen.
Yeah, it was very fun. Our first All-Star Game weekend, All-Star Weekend, I had a great time reliving it 2 days later.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. One last observation that we will point out, pretty star-studded front row. We have to mention, sitting next to Sue Bird, Aubrey Plaza, who's been a longtime defender of women's basketball and is a big-time enjoyer of women's basketball. Apparently, she tore her ACL playing knockout this weekend at the All-Star event. Very sad to see her with a crutch. I was like, what's she got there? And then the announcers panned down to show her destroyed leg.
Her icing
and
her
her
leg.
iced leg. and Cheryl Miller came over to like ask if she was okay. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm good. And then her sister was like, yeah, she tore her ACL playing knockout. And Cheryl Miller was like, oh, and just walked away.
Oh, it scares me. Playing basketball scares me.
Well, she plays a lot of basketball. She plays a lot more basketball than you.
Yeah, so like I don't play basketball, so I will get hurt probably more than her, sooner than she will.
Well,
I am less conditioned.
We have had friends that we've known torn ACLs playing recreational knockout basketball.
Yes.
Ooh,
watch yourselves.
Watch yourselves.
Be careful out there.
Guard yourselves.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, that's going to do it for our coverage of the WNBA All-Star Game weekend. Again, had a lot of fun. Let's go over our closing rundown here. Reminders, if you'd like to reach out to us to send us a message, you can do so either at our Twitter, ATBpod_, or at our email, attackthebaseline@gmail.com. We're excited to have new listeners. We continue to see our baseline of listenership growing every single day. We love to have you here.
Yes.
That's very exciting.
Thank you.
And we're going to be back with a second pod this week to talk a little bit about other WNBA Olympians that are not on the U.S. team. So look forward to that. That'll be a little bit of a breakdown before we get into the opening ceremonies of the 2024 Paris Olympics on Friday. So expect to hear that pod pretty soon after this one. But yes, again, thank you, Kristen. Let's sign off. I'm looking at the thing. What are we going to do the baseline?
Attack it.
That's right. Attack the baseline. Thank you for listening. We'll be back later this week. Love you. Have a good one. Bye.